All right, what's up, everyone? It's Nick Atkin on South China Morning Post, SCMP MMA. I'm with Chris. I'm with Leon, the deadly duo. We're gonna bring you our UFC 268 preview today. First of all, I gotta check in with the boys. How is Bali, Leon?
Good, very good. I
You look
did
like
have
you're
a fight.
both in the same room, actually, but you just sort of separate.
Come here, Chris. Give me a cuddle.
Hey, wrong
Well,
way.
let's see. Yeah,
I
sorry.
got up at 5 a.m. this morning for no reason because Bellator wasn't the main card wasn't on YouTube for once.
Really?
Yeah,
Why not?
It was in Hong Kong. It might. Do they have a TV deal in Indonesia?
I don't think so. It's the first time I've ever known it not to be on YouTube,
Oh wow.
or certainly in the last year or so. Yeah, and it
Who
because it was
won?
on
I missed
BBC
it.
iPlayer and Showtime, I couldn't find it on my TV box either. So yeah.
It was an interesting card. Pitbull won and
People beat
Patchy Mix won.
Really?
Yeah, I saw the finishes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm completely blind to it. Maybe we'll talk about
Crowd
it later.
looked pretty
But
epic.
it was in Ireland, right? Of Dublin.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Okay.
the Irish may have outdone the Koreans with the song "Zombie" from when we were in Busan with the Korean Zombie.
Oh, that was epic.
They
was epic.
They sang down.
All right. Yeah. Poor old John missed it. He was in the back. He wasn't allowed out to the front, was he?
Yeah, that
Just
was
you and I.
ridiculous. That was.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
It's particularly how cold it was in that room. I mean,
Oh god. Yeah, it was Arctic. Absolutely Arctic. Hello, Sepulot. Good to see you again. Let's get into it then. Let's keep it short and sweet today. We're gonna just do the UFC 268 preview, I think, unless anything else major happened I'm not aware of. But let's do it, boys. We're gonna do Fanatics. I'm gonna bring that up on screen when I can find it. Here it is. So I haven't actually made my picks yet, Chris. I'm hoping you have.
Oh
So
wow.
someone
Yeah,
has.
I've made my picks. I'm all prepared. But you know what I'm like? Come a pick show. I'm still a little bit of a flip flop. I'm a little bit 50-50, and I'm a little bit 50-50 on a few of these decisions that I've gone for.
Okay. Well, let's start at the top then. I'll make my picks live. It's always more fun, isn't it? Let's go for it. Usman, Colby Covington, the rematch. Chris, who have you got?
I've gone for the one and only Kamaru Usman. I just think right now he is the pound for pound number one for a reason. Everything he's done in the sport has been fantastic. Colby has been his toughest test so far, but in general, what we see in the first fight, we see in the second fight, but we only see it happen faster and quicker. I think Usman has got Colby's card. I think it's going to look competitive for 2 or 3 rounds, but I expect Usman to get the finish, and I expect him to get the finish earlier than he did in their previous fight.
I agree with you, Chris. I think I said it on the weigh-in stream I did last night with Drake, or in the morning over there in New York. I was filling in some of the dead airtime while they were waiting for the last few fighters to come on the scales, and I think I said the exact same thing. Yeah, that I think Usman's improved since that first fight, especially in his stand-up, and I think he's gonna get a finish in the second round. Am I bold enough to go with the TKO on Fanatics? I don't think I'm that bold, Chris. So I'm just going to go with Usman. I'm not going to pick a finish. Is that cheating? Should I put my money where my mouth
that's
is?
absolutely fine. I'm the only one who's gone for the method of victory, and that's just because I just have the utmost faith in Usman.
I've done it. I'm going with the KO TKO. At least I don't have to pick a round. But yeah, Sepulot says Colby is going to lose. Kamaru is going to beat him by murder. Leon, do you see any way Colby Covington going to win this one?
I do.
Wow.
I kind of agree with everything you've both said. I kind of favour Usman as the better fighter, but I've just got a feeling Colby's going to do it. I think as good as Kamaru Usman has looked, he didn't want this fight. He wanted to put this fight off as long as possible. It was so obvious that he was kept saying Colby doesn't deserve it. He wanted to fight Masvidal twice. I mean, he said Masvidal deserved an immediate rematch, but Colby doesn't. And then now he's backtracking. He seems to backtrack a lot on what he says. And then the push yesterday for me was a little bit of a sign as well. I mean, that was a push. That was That was the kind of push. That was more than a push in my eyes. He was trying to hurt Colby there. That was this part of your hand into the sternum, as if to say. So I think there's a little bit of psychological weakness there. Because as much rubbish as Colby spoke during the press conference, or as much trash talking, I should say, during the face-off, it didn't look like he was really saying anything. And then Usman just done that. So I don't know why. I'm backing Colby.
Wow.
I'm going against the grain, and I don't think anyone's really backing Colby to win. I think I just saw an interview with, I think it might have been Aaron Bronstetter interviewing Dana, and he said, look, everyone is backing Kamaru to win this. So I might be the only one.
Well, on that app, it's 83% picking Kamaru and 17 are with Colby. So you've got some fellow Colby fans on Fanatics, Fantasy MMA, Leon, but you're not even on it, so you can't talk to them there. But well, that's interesting. Yeah, Chris, I know you picked Usman already, but do you see any way Colby can win, like Leon says?
Oh yeah, 100%. I see ways that Colby can win. I think Colby actually should probably try and utilize his wrestling, utilize the takedown. He is very good on the ground. He's very good in control positions. Just my only huge problem with Colby is, and we've seen in quite a lot of his fights, maybe apart from maybe RDA, but he doesn't really utilize his ground and pound to the best of his ability. But yeah, you know, it's going to have to be one of those performances by Colby whereby he is just going to have to level up in the same way we saw Usman level up in the Burns fight and level up in the Masvidal fight. We're going to have to see something new from Colby, I believe, if he has any chance to beat Usman.
I shouldn't.
I kind of agree.
I'll just read these comments quickly. Come back. Ashin saying, who's the underdog? Colby is plus 240 and Usman is minus 280. So there you go.
And an interesting little fact, Colby being plus 240 right now, you can get odds for Usman Chimaev, and Chimaev is a plus 170.
Wow.
So it does show you.
Well,
I guess if I was a betting man, I'd definitely bet on Colby because, I mean, I'm not really a betting man, but I think the odds are pretty good considering the first fight, really, there's nothing in it. It was by far Usman's most difficult fight in recent years. And, you know, there was the decisions, obviously, that Colby's gone on about, and the decision at that point, he probably was losing the fifth round, but maybe it was an early stoppage. But I think considering the first fight was so close, I think the odds are pretty good for Colby.
I'll let us know in the chat if any of you think Colby can do it. Terrence saying that Usman didn't want to fight Colby because of the money he could make with others. Yeah, I think
this is the. I don't know. I disagree with that. This is the biggest fight in the welterweight division. It's the best two fighters in the division, and there's bad blood. And their first fight was epic. So him saying he didn't want this fight because there were other money fights. What? Are you telling me this fight? This isn't going to do. Isn't going to do as big numbers as Gilbert Burns' fight. You're having a laugh, aren't you? This is by far the biggest fight he could have. Even the second Masvidal fight, he won convincingly the first fight. This was always the biggest money fight. So this is why, again, I think skill for skill, I think they're very matched. But I do give Usman the edge. But I think he really didn't want this fight. He really didn't want it.
Well,
Anyway, I think he knew he had to take it, but I think he just wanted to put it off as long as possible. And then he maybe even talked about retiring this week all of a sudden. Maybe he may have even retired ideally before he took this fight.
I think genuinely though the Masvidal, the first pay-per-view at least did over 1 million. I'm not sure what the second one did, but the Usman Colby pay-per-view didn't do very well in terms of buys. Yeah. So
yeah, I agree with that. But look at the bad blood since. Look at the fact that. I forgot my second point.
I think there was more bad blood the first time round than this time round. And I mean, if you do look, Masvidal has those big pay-per-view numbers. He brings in those big buys.
Yeah. That's true about Masvidal, yeah.
I think as well, Usman is just at that point, right, where it's like, I understand why he's looking at other opponents because, you know, if he fights Colby and he wins, then he fights, if Leon Edwards beats Masvidal, I think out of his last 5 fights, 3 of them will be rematches, which isn't too bad, but you do kind of want to be fighting fresh people. And I do kind of agree with what Leon said is, I don't think we see Usman fight in 2023. I think he'll be retired by then.
I want to bring up this.
Obviously, the first fight is a big selling point as well. The fact it was so close, it was such a good fight. That's surely going to add lots of pay-per-views this time around.
And just to add, if he really, really, really wants a money fight Usman and he really wants to get out there, if he can beat Colby, he should get on the mic and be like, I'm not afraid of anyone. Chimaev, let's go. If he wants the money fight, because you look at everything the UFC's putting out there, everything with Chimaev is doing 2 million hits here, 2 million hits there. I mean, that's probably the biggest money fight in the welterweight division. I mean, Leon Edwards is next. That's why I keep saying I won't be surprised with Usman having Ali Abdelaziz as his manager who kind of guided Khabib in and out of the UFC. I honestly would not be surprised if we saw Usman, if he wins this fight Leon Edwards, maybe have one more fight after that, and then step back and retire before he gets any of that Chimaev heat.
Yeah, other than Aspulla, Hamza is the man at the moment when it comes to numbers.
Yeah. Let us know what you think of that in the comments. But yeah, I've got to bring up this on screen. Thank you so much, Terrence, very kindly with that super chat there. We do have super chats now, guys. So you know, every little bit is very much appreciated.
It's nice all the super chats we've been getting, but Leon, have you seen a penny out of them?
We'll figure this out.
I'm sure I'd have had a beer or two if I was within 50 kilometers.
There would have been a beer or two, yeah. Don't worry, I'm thinking about how to figure this out. I will try and recompense these lads for super chats. Yeah. But yeah, Terrence,
we need Ali Abdelaziz managing us, Chris.
yeah, that's it.
I gotta figure it out. But yeah, he's got a good question as well there, Terrence. If Rose wins the next and fights Carla, it would be 4 back-to-back part 2s. So let's say she gets past Carla. Who's next in your eyes? I guess Marina Rodriguez is looking 100%. Around there. Don't know what's going on with Joanna, but yeah, what do you think, guys? Put it to the floor.
It's kind of, this is the problem, right? Everyone kind of agrees that this is kind of an unwarranted rematch in the second fight, which it kind of is because of the dominance that Rose did show. And the problem is whenever you get these rematches or champions take a long time out, it always murkies the water of the division. And it's kind of what's happened here, unfortunately, which I think is probably, in my opinion, probably in the top 3 or 4 best divisions in the UFC would be the women's strawweight. But yeah, it probably is Carla followed by Marina. There's no one really close. I mean, you could argue maybe Mackenzie Dern is a win or 2 away.
Yeah.
That's probably the next step. Yeah. Mackenzie Dern could fight a Yan Xiaonan, maybe. The winner of that would probably be an ideal fight for Rose.
I forgot about Yan Xiaonan because Carla just monstered her, didn't she?
Yeah.
Last time out. She was on her way. We all thought it was going to be Yan versus Zhang. The old Chinese derby was on the horizon. Maybe that could still happen, but I think it'd be better for the title. It would have been better for the title. But anyway, shall we? Talking of Zhang Weili, let's discuss the co-main event, guys. Let's get into it. I'm going to press this button here, and we're back. All right. Thanks again, Terrence, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Let's go. Zhang Weili and Rose Namajunas. I haven't made my picks yet, so I'm gonna listen to Chris's take first before I choose.
Yeah, you know what? This one I've been flip-flopping. I only just put this on before we did the show. It was one of 2 fights that I haven't picked, and I expect myself to maybe flip-flop before this show and maybe even before this speech is over because, wow, what a fight we have here. The first one ended a bit faster. This one is the one I see going differently as a rematch. This is the one I see. I think it's going to go longer, whichever way it goes. I think it's going to be a very close decision. I think they're both phenomenal fighters, and it just is so hard. And it's, you know, with Rose, it's hard to judge which Rose we're going to get. I think Trevor Whitman has made absolutely the best decision. And we all know this decision wasn't for Gaethje, it wasn't for Usman. This decision to move around the card is all for the benefit of one person and one person's mentality, one person's psychology. And that is just so he has the maximum amount of time to get Rose focused, because we do know what she can be and how she can have problems with her mental side of the game. This is just such a hard fight to call, because I think Rose maybe has a little bit of an advantage on the feet. I think Zhang Weili needs to try and get it down in this fight 100% and mix in a little bit of her wrestling more. It is just such a hard fight to call. But then on the other hand, we have Zhang Weili, who just looks absolutely amazing. I love her new haircut. And you know what I was saying a few weeks ago to Nick? How long is it until we see Khabib Nurmagomedov win a Coach of the Year award? And you see it a little bit more often going on in the sport. You see with the Stanford guys on Law in the corner, you see Eagle, you've got Khabib, and you see now with Henry Cejudo kind of taking not really a coaching role, it's more of a mentoring role. But I absolutely love that for Zhang Weili, and I just love it. And you've kind of got it with Fedor and Nemkov, where they're not totally a coach, but they're more just of a mentor, someone to believe in you, someone to cheer you on, and just to give you that little bit of experience, and someone who's done it all before. And I think we actually see a big step up in game from both girls, and I think it is a war. My biggest issue with Zhang Weili is still, how's her body after that war with Joanna? That's the question
Joanna
for me.
said something about that, I think, on the MMA Hour. She said Zhang doesn't look the same now after our fight, and I didn't actually ever think of that before. That is interesting. But
Yeah, I mean,
Leon,
you do look.
what do you? Sorry, go ahead.
You do look through a history of the sport, and you look at all those wars. Rory McDonald, Robbie Lawler, Gastelum, Adesanya. Whenever you have these huge wars, there's usually one fighter, and a lot of the times both fighters, and they never really look the same again.
Yeah. Terrence says taking that Whitman parlay tomorrow. Yeah, so Whitman's got his work cut out. He's got 3 fighters on the main card, just Gaethje, Rose, and then Usman. Leon, how do you see this one going?
I agree with most of what Chris said there. I think it's interesting. I think mentally, I think Rose has overcome her previous demons. I mean, I could be proved wrong, but I think she's overcome them and she's mentally stronger than ever. So I expect her to be her best tomorrow. Zhang Weili, it's difficult to tell if she's been affected negatively by that Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight, because her fight after that was the first Rose fight, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've only seen it. That was about a minute long. So we'd had, I mean, and she obviously lost by knockout, but it wasn't as if we saw her fight for 3, 4, 5 rounds and didn't look herself. We didn't really get a chance to see if she's fully recovered. Now she's had another 6, 7 months, so you'd expect so. I kind of expect this, like Chris sort of said, a bit like when Rose beat Joanna the first time. Obviously, that was pretty conclusively. The second was very competitive. So I kind of see this going down that same pattern. And yeah, I kind of agree with the Henry Cejudo thing as well. I think he's more of a mental. I think he's coaching her as well, particularly the wrestling side. That, and I do think that'll make a big difference. I know John questioned that before, but like Chris pointed out there before, particularly like in tennis, some of the best coaches over the last 10, 20 years have been Ivan Lendl, Stefan Edberg, Boris Beck, have come in and coached the best players in the world, just to give them that extra little bit of percentage here and there.
And just to add on to this, Leon, with a lot of these guys who coach these former great pros themselves, when they've come in and coached, they've kind of done a Cejudo job where they've come in very short term. A lot of them, you look at Ivan Lendl, a lot of people he's coached, he's come in just for 2 years and they pop out, and you do see it quite a lot, you know. Because it's not like they're the full-time coaching gig. It's this pop in, pop out, and it's, you know, in the same way. If you keep training in the same gym all the time, you learn how to fight like that coach wants you to. But the moment you go to another gym, you'll just pick up something and you'll remember that something else, and you're just learning off other people's games.
I agree. I think she's going to benefit a lot from the training in Arizona. She said as well, I think it was Drake asked her the question in the press conference, will she continue training there after this fight? And she said yes. So she's enjoying herself. I think she's learning a lot. I think Henry, like I say, although he might be coaching, I do agree with the mental side of it. I've heard her talking about she has to accept that loss. And there's still a little bit of doubt in my mind that she's still even coming to New York this time, still making a little bit of excuses. I just heard her mention jet lag as well this week, which I hadn't heard her mention before. So there's still a little bit of that. And I don't think Henry lets her get away with that. It's accept your mistakes, accept your defeats, learn by them. They're blessings in disguise. Move on, come back stronger. So I expect, like Chris said, both of them to see the best versions of themselves. And then that's the question: who we saw, obviously, Rose was the better version of herself the first time. But if they both fight at their best, who's the better fighter? I'm giving a very slight edge to Rose, but I think, like Chris said, one of the reasons we love this fight so much is there's a lot of unknowns and it's almost 50-50.
Yeah,
I always forget, Leon, you were a tennis coach. It's always makes
In a
me
past
laugh.
life.
I can't picture you doing it. You actually competed at Wimbledon, didn't you? In some fashion.
You know, I don't like to talk about it too much. You know.
His dark past, before MMA.
It does seem like another lifestyle because, I mean, for over 15 years, I had a tennis racket in my hand 6 days a week. And then because of an injury, suddenly then I picked up a racket for 6 years. So it seems like another lifetime. It's crazy.
A promising career cut short by devastating injuries. The world of tennis lost something special.
They haven't recovered still.
They have not. All right. Asian Lamb asking, I don't know what's going on with Chris, but he's dropped out. Anyway, Asian asking, who's the favorite here? So I'll get my Fanatics app open, and you can have a look at all the odds there, guys, all the stats for every fight on this card. It'll tell you their win-loss records, everything you need to know. Minus 120, Zhang Weili, and Rose is plus 105. So Rose is the underdog, which is
I read that this week. I find it kind of crazy that Rose is the underdog.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think I discussed it a little bit with Drake last night, but I was kind of drunk, so I forgot what I said. But I don't agree with Weili being the favorite here. I think Rose has to be the favorite, given the way the first fight ended.
I could see the odds being very close because, I think we all agree, this potentially could be very close. But then again, Rose could win in 1 minute again. But then so could Zhang Weili. But I think most people think, or us, I think, are leaning towards a 5-round war.
Yeah, I was going for 5-round war. I'm going to bet with my money where my mouth is. I said Weili's going to win a split decision. So I'm going to do that on the app. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, guys. Zhang Weili decision over Rose Namajunas, and then we're going to get a trilogy. That's just what I think. There we go. All right.
I really like both ladies. I hope it is a really good close fight. And then I'll be happy with either girl winning.
If you had Zhang Weili win, do you think it'd be an immediate rematch though, or do you think they give Rose the rematch against Marina?
Carla.
Carla, sorry.
Yes, that's a good question. That's a tough one because the trilogy is the obvious answer, but then Carla's already stepped aside. Really, this should have been her title shot. Really, so that'd be tough for her if they do a trilogy. One controversial.
Unless you gave Carla to Zhang Weili, I guess that could be the other option.
Yeah, but even then, she's earned that title shot. Really.
Yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities. It's interesting, isn't it? However it all plays out, we've got plenty of matchups, haven't we, in strawweight at the top.
I will say on a controversial note, Chris, you're going to love this.
Yeah.
I do prefer Rose with short hair. I think it suits her.
You mean Zhang or Rose?
Rose.
Okay, because Rose cut her hair a while ago, right?
I know, but I'm just throwing it out there. I think it just suits her perfectly. I know some people prefer her long hair.
It suits the Thug Rose gimmick, you know.
Yeah, I like the jacket she wears with the rose tattoo style with all the thorns on. That's quite cool. I guess it's cool, the shaved head. I guess if she shaves it bare, her and Pat Barry can share the same head polish, so they can save money that way. Hey, I bet you it must be nice when you go around to their house, because I bet you go around and there's no shampoo or conditioner.
Yeah, but they got a lot of vegetables. You know, they got a farm out there, I think.
I do prefer Zhang Weili with longer hair myself, though. I think she suits longer hair better, personally.
Yeah. I remember she was saying she only grew it out to like appease people who say, "Oh, you look like a boy," all these.
I think
like,
the short hair kind of suits her because I think it kind of suits her bubbly personality, kind of.
I get the feeling she much prefers it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think she prefers it, and it's
she was
definitely easier when you fight to not have to worry about all that, right?
she was fantastic at the press conference as well, Zhang
Yeah,
Weili.
she was.
I think
The
it's like as it's gone on, every single event she's done, she's just shown more and more and more personality.
I love her
Drake.
personality myself.
And
Drake did a clip. It blew up on our Twitter.
I think Cejudo and Eric Albertson as well are very, very good for Zhang Weili in that sense as well. Because those two guys are two guys that don't care what anyone thinks about them and just live their life their own way. You know what I mean? I mean, for a coach who was in the Marines for 15 years in Eric Albertson, I mean, he dresses like a pimp. I mean, there's no other way to describe it, you know?
Yeah, they're both big personalities. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a really good fit for her. For
That's
Weili.
it.
I'll just read some comments quickly before we move on. I wasn't in New York with Drake Sepilot. I was drunk at home in Hong Kong, and it was 12 hours ahead. So I wasn't drinking at 9 a.m. or anything like that, like a reprobate. So you should feel like a degenerate still. It has started already. Good evening, Danielle. Good to see you again. Daniel says, I love them both. Rose inspired me, and her deep thinking and maturity level is spectacular. Zhang, amazing fighter and humble. I agree with you completely. Yeah. Aishin is hoping for a 1 minute KO. Who for? Rose or Zhang? Let us know.
I hope we don't get a 1 minute KO for either girl.
Yeah, I'd like to see 25 minutes of this. I want to see who is the best.
At least three or four rounds, so they can both get their teeth into it.
Get their feet into it.
And
also, yeah, like if we get the full 5 rounds or we go a long way, no one can say, "Oh, it was a lucky stoppage" or whatever. It's a lucky finish. I want a conclusive end to this. But then again, if Zhang wins, they might do this trilogy. We might never see the end of this. But
yeah,
whatever. All right, let's go, guys. Frankie, Edgar, and Marlon Vera, Cheeto. I think Terrence asked something about that. Over under on Al and or Frankie retire tomorrow in New York. But yeah, why don't we look at that one quickly?
I'll just answer the question very quickly. There's no way I see Iaquinta retiring. No. I think he's still very, very hungry. Look at the way he talks, the way he trains. I think he's still there. I think he's still got a few more years in him. He is a very, very good fighter. He just was a bit lucky in that loss to Cerrone. He hasn't fought as well for about 2 years now, so it's nice to see him back. And you do look at his fight against Khabib, and he had a closer fight against Khabib than Gaethje, than Poirier, than Conor, you can argue. So he is a top quality guy, and it just shows you that he's ranked fairly low because this is the division with the most depth in terms of Iaquinta. I think that this is Frankie Edgar's last fight. I think it's the end of the road for him. 100% if he loses, I think he retires. But I think being from the area, being in New York, being at Madison Square Garden, win or lose, you're kind of finishing on top. He's had a Hall of Fame career, fought for titles in 3 weight divisions. I fancy Frankie Edgar to retire. Everyone's talking about it this weekend, and I'd love to see him win and retire, but I think Cheeto's just a bit too good for him in his current form.
I remember in Busan, South Korea, Frankie Edgar was obviously fighting the zombie in the main event, and poor old Leon said, "Frankie, can I get you to wear a t-shirt, at the media day?" And Frankie said, "Sure. Have you got a medium?" Leon said, "Yeah, I've got a medium." And then he never got to give him the t-shirt.
I didn't ask him to wear it. I just said, "I've got a t-shirt for you." But then,
yeah. So you've got to get Frankie an Asian Persuasion MMA t-shirt before he retires, Leon. This is I want that. I should have given one to Drake somehow to give to him. But right, I presume that means you're picking Cheeto, Chris.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, I've picked him as well. You can see the stats there on the Fanatics browser. He's a minus 145 favorite there. Frankie Edgar plus 135. You can see most people are backing Cheeto, 65% on the app, only 35% for Frankie. Leon, do you think Frankie can get the upset here?
It's kind of a heart versus head one, isn't it? Really, I'm leaning towards Vera, but then I don't want to see Frankie Edgar lose in New York. I agree. It'd be an ideal fight for him if he could win and then retire. But I think he said this week he's still got big plans, even though he's now 40 years old. Yeah, I'm going to go Frankie though. I'm going to follow my heart and think he's going to edge out a decision.
I've just flip-flopped. I'm going for Frankie too. I'm flip-flopping here. You've convinced me, Leon. As you will see, I am now, and JHK is also there. Drake and Chris are with Cheeto. I need to get rid of some of these other fools in the middle. They never make their picks. Yeah. I have to lean on Tom Taylor a bit more now. He's full-time with us. Not even in the podcast. Tom, where are you with you? Actually, Tom is feeling very sick, very under the weather.
Oh, wow.
He thinks he might have picked up COVID in Florida, so when he went for the PFL. So hopefully he's okay.
Sounds like Florida to me.
Well, they've got the lowest numbers in the whole of America.
Well, he's feeling rough as hell, he said. He's taking a test now because he thinks it might not be a cold anymore. But all the best to Tom. Hope he's feeling good and is able to.
I imagine he's asleep though, isn't he, at the moment? Or
yeah, I told him to take yesterday off, or whatever it is in America. So he's maybe ready for the fights tomorrow. I'm hoping he's okay.
Morning. I know it'll be Saturday night for him, won't it?
Yeah.
How nice not to have to stay up all night. That was another hardship last week.
Oh yeah, I missed most of it, man. I just couldn't do it. It was too tough.
I was fighting the eyelids. Managed to just about win.
Yeah. Here we go though. All right, let's move on, lads.
The clocks go back as well in America. I think this weekend, which means our fights will be an hour later every Sunday morning, which is going to be handy for the earlier ones.
Terrence is in Tampa, Florida, the place where Rogan got COVID. I saw him the night he got it. There we go.
His comedy show? I think we've talked about this before. I've never seen any of his comedy, but he just doesn't come across as a funny person to me. Joe
Rogan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's a really interesting commentator and really interesting podcaster. But yeah, I don't find him hilariously funny. But
it's like college bro humor.
Is it?
It's not really for us.
I've never recorded him ever making me laugh. Funny people, even if they're not trying to, they just drop a little gag here or a bit of banter or a bit of sarcasm or something.
Oh, well, Terrence can tell us if his show was funny or not, maybe.
Yeah, we want to
know. So people are saying Al will not retire from the real estate business, maybe from the fight business, but he's still not in his real estate prime. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's go. Actually, good point from Asian there. I'll just say Weili and Joanna rematch. That could work. Yeah, I still want to see that. But anyway, how about this? It's a shame. Yeah, no Strickland and Rockhold. That one is cancelled. I mean, this card was already mad, guys.
Yeah, that'd have been a banger.
Yeah. It does show you how bloody amazing the UFC is. We had this card. We had last weekend in Abu Dhabi on the other side of the world. And then next weekend we get Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez. Yeah,
but they've got a really good thing going now where those fight nights are kind of they can stack up the numbered events, you know what I mean? Like really, really bad. And then they can put something really good still on a fight night to headline it. And then below, people are still going to watch it because it's the UFC, right? They just get a fan base that will just watch anything. And it serves them well. They can really sell these big pay-per-views. Okay. This one's going to be good as well. Jesus. A lot of people are sleeping on this one, but Shane Burgos and Billy Quarantillo. Wow, this is going to be a banger. Shane is minus 195 favorite. Billy Q plus 170. The consensus with Shane Burgos 65%. Billy Q got 35% on Fanatics. You can see all the stats there, guys, on the app. Do download it. Do give us a like and a subscribe as well. I forgot to say that at the beginning, but yeah, guys, who have you got? Chris, I didn't see who you picked, so I'm gonna just close down that page briefly to see who you went for. Okay, you with Billy Q. All right, explain yourself.
The one and
Come
only
on.
to go with Billy Q. I rate him. I mean, Shane Burgos is coming off back-to-back losses. When I look at Billy Q, you look at his record. It's been very, very good. They're both similar records. Billy Q's done pretty good. He's gone 4-1 since joining the UFC. He's got that one loss on his record to Gavin Tucker. It was a decision loss. He did deserve to lose it, but I had that fight at 2-1, so he was very, very competitive. I just think Shane Burgos in his last two fights, they were both fight of the night. It shows he likes to get into a war. I think people are underplaying Billy Q's mentality, his ability to read distance, and I think he's going to try and snipe away and try and control the pace of the fight. Because you do look at Shane Burgos, I think he lost a decision, and then before that he was knocked out, right? So
he lost to Barboza, didn't he? Wasn't it Shane Burgos who had that delayed knockout?
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary, really.
That was crazy, yeah.
Not talking about Zhang Weili recovering from a 5-round war with Iaquinta. Is Burgos back to 100%? Is his brain back to 100%?
And then the fight before that, it was he lost every round against Josh Emmett as well, who is a top operator in this division. But I just think this whole's there to expose him. He does like to get put into a fist fight. Billy Q has a little bit more experience, and I think this is a bit of a pick me. I think this has got Fight of the Night written all over it. And I just thought, you know what, Billy Q is paying out a little bit better. So I thought, based on it, I see it as a bit of a 50-50 and a fight that's not going to last too long. I'm going to go with Billy Q.
I don't know who to pick, Chris. I do not know who to pick. Sepulot, enjoy the BJJ tomorrow. When you're going to roll with Leon, come on. I want to see you two squaring off on the mat. I don't know who to pick for this, though. Really, I don't. I'm going to go... Oh, Jesus. I'm going to follow you, Chris, then. I'm gonna follow you. You're the wise man. But Leon, who are you thinking here?
Again, I'm going to go Chris. I think it's very 50-50. I'm going to give a slight edge to Shane. Providing, well, not providing, but yeah, I'm going to assume he's back to 100% health, and yeah. But I think this could rival Gaethje and Chandler for being one of the best fights on the card, on a stacked card.
Okay, it could be the fight of the night indeed.
Obviously, and the other big fights as well. But I think
on the main card, I don't think we get a decision.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against that.
I'm going to put it out there.
That's a good shout.
Billy's odds have shortened, guys, as well. So a lot of people jumping on that. Let me look at a couple of comments here. Okay, Terrence saw Joe Rogan in Atlanta once. It was funny. In Tampa, he was just talking about not caring about COVID and cancel culture. So no, it wasn't funny. And then he got COVID, apparently. Wow. Damn. Well, that's a mixed review then. So if you see Joe in Florida, he's no good. If you see him in Atlanta, he's funny. Just that's different material for different states. Okay.
That's it.
He's back in the commentary booth as well, isn't he? The first time in about 4 months.
Yeah. True. I'm looking forward to it because everyone's going to lose their shit again and complain and cry about it. A lot of people don't like him now. What is this, like anti-Rogan? I know a lot of people don't like him because of his COVID stance, but a lot of MMA fans have turned on him, I think, a little bit in terms of his commentary.
I just think over the last 3 or 4 years, the UFC has been filling its commentary positions with its own fighters, and they've actually found a lot of good ones. And now the thing is, the problem is you look at it, and there are really nice combinations. Like I love DC and DC. Felder and Bisping is a really nice combination. And the thing is, when people talk to me, I really like Joe Rogan. I like him for some of those big pay-per-views. But then you think, who's he really good with? Who does he have that kind of connection and banter? And I don't like it when he's with DC because it kind of devolves into a fight companion as opposed to commentary.
True. So the problem is they've kind of outdone themselves a little bit, I guess, by unearthing some really good commentators from within the organization.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I like him. I enjoy his commentating, but I think some of the former fighters have sort of overtaken him. I think with Joe, he tends to rely on his big base of knowledge from previous fights and covering the sport and his big passion for the sport. Whereas Felders of the world and the Cormiers and the Cruisers, they just do a few days of solid research, and you can tell they know everything. They know the fights inside out. So I think that's a little bit of a difference. Joe doesn't have quite the same.
With Joe, you get knowledge. With someone else, you get knowledge and insight, and that's the difference. It's the insight. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to say, I don't know Joe Rogan for his vegan and hunting stance. Just want to add
that. Just to answer to Migs, when did we get super chat? You know, Migs, we got super chat the moment we found out you had a wallet. I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
Yeah.
We take MasterCard, Visa, Amex.
I had to ask the head of SCMP YouTube and video to approve it. So it took a while because I think he forgot. I kept asking him, and then he's like, "Okay, sure. How do we do it?" It's like, "Oh, you just press a button." He's like, "Oh, you should have said that in the beginning." So we turned on the button, and anyone who wants to do super chats, that's great. You don't have to do them to have your stuff read out. We still want to interact with everyone, and get your comments on screen and things like that. But they're very welcome. But yes, we're not making it mandatory. We're not shaking you down.
Your comment gets read out.
Yeah, it will guarantee it gets read out if you want that, if that's your thing. But yeah, Chris is only joking, Migs. We're not shaking you down. Okay, let's go to Jesus, yeah.
This boring fight.
This boring fight. Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, Big Rig, Chris, JHK have all gone with the highlight. No love for Michael Chandler. Chris, why are you going for Justin Gaethje?
You know what? I've gone for Justin Gaethje. I'm the only one who's really tripled down and actually gone for the way it's going to go down. I've done it by KO, TKO. This is not going to the judges, let's be honest. They both hit hard. They're both fantastic at knockouts. Both fantastic wrestlers. I mean, back in their collegiate days, I think at the national championships, Chandler finished fourth and Gaethje finished fifth. So there was one place between them. And I think they both hit just as hard. If I was choosing either fighter, I'd go for KO, TKO. But the thing I do look at is who is more resilient. When I look at who's more resilient, who's got the more resilient chin, that's only one man, and that's Justin Gaethje, because we've seen it in Bellator. We saw it against Oliveira, Chandler. He does get caught, and when he gets caught, he just go down. He is a little bit chinny. Fantastic fighter nonetheless.
Yeah, hard to disagree. Justin Gaethje is minus 210 favorite here. Michael Chandler plus 185. His odds have widened. Everyone's going with Justin here. 72% on Fanatics. Only 28 for Michael Chandler. I don't know. I could see Chandler doing something here. But Leon, I'll get your thoughts first before I make my final.
Yeah, again, I can't agree with everything Chris said. But I'm edging towards Gaethje. I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago. I can see Charlie Olives defeating Dustin Poirier, and then Gaethje winning this weekend, and then beating Charles Oliveira. So that's kind of I kind of see that happening, because they're all amazing, like Chris mentioned earlier. I think this is the most stacked division in the UFC
globally.
What's that?
Also, the most stacked division globally.
Yeah.
Great fighters in every organization in the world. Their lightweight champion is a beast. Fact. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm edging Gaethje. I wouldn't be surprised if it does go the distance. I think Chandler's chin's a little bit more susceptible, but I could perceive it potentially just going the way. But if I was to bet anything, I'd say Gaethje by finish. TKO.
I would think Chandler's got a chance, but the Whitman factor we saw against Ferguson that Gaethje had kind of really smartened up his game, hadn't he? And it's going to be on Chandler to find a way through. I'm not sure he can do it, but I mean, I'm still shocked that Chandler got knocked out by Charlie Olives.
Yeah, the other thing as well about that, so I mean, obviously Gaethje's training with Kamaru Usman, who trained with Michael Chandler for a long time at Sanford MMA. So that could be a slight factor. Not that I don't think it'll make too much difference, but it probably is better than nothing.
Well, I've jumped on the Gaethje bandwagon there. You can see we got a clean sweep of us on Fanatics from SCMP MMA. But look, Chandler, I thought Dan Hooker was going to beat Chandler. So, yeah, he showed me right. I get things wrong a lot of the times. So don't listen to me. Okay. Let's go. Let's move on, lads. That's
There's not a more difficult sport to predict, I think, than MMA.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay, this is our featured prelim, I do believe, and wow, I'm looking forward to this. Alex Pereira, former Glory champion, 2-weight, is taking on Andreas Michailidis, the Spartan, in his UFC debut. Of course, guys, Alex Pereira, forever linked with Israel Adesanya, the only man to ever knock out Israel Adesanya. And he made it clear in his press this week, he's not coming for Izzy Adesanya, he's coming for the belt. He wanted to make that distinction. But do you see, if he gets some spectacular knockout here, how long before they try and set that match up with Adesanya?
He is the thing, right? Andreas Michailidis, fantastic fighter, really, really good. Great ground game. He's a wrestler / jiu-jitsu is primarily his background is the grappling side of things. With Alex Pereira coming over, and not just remembering he has the knockout win over Adesanya in Glory. He also has the decision win in Glory of Heroes just over the border here in Shenzhen about 6 or 7 years back. And you do look at it, and if he does come out and he shows fantastic takedown defense and etc., 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 Adesanya is going to be watching this fight and he's going to be thinking, I don't want to have to fight this guy in a year or two because he has got his number. And we've seen it with Shevchenko and Joanna, where people have had these records in kickboxing, and then when they brought them into the cage, they still tend to go the same way. Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun fight. I feel like Alex Pereira is going to win. Everyone wants him to win. It'd just be so interesting. The storyline will be good. Obviously, he is coming into the sport fairly late in life. 6-7 years later than Adesanya, so it'll be interesting to see how much he can add to his game. He has been training in America, in Connecticut, hasn't he, with our man himself, Glover, at the moment. So I guess if he's wrestling every day with Glover, his wrestling takedown should be okay. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. But this is actually quite a hard one to really make a pick for, because I'll put my hands up and tell you I haven't done all my research because I haven't seen this guy fight MMA.
I think Izzy, they will want to fight him as soon as possible, because you would expect him to, being the new being coming to the sport more recently, his growth going to be more explosive than Izzy's over the next 2-3 years potentially. So you'd think Izzy may want to just get that fight under his belt as soon as possible.
Well, maybe by the time Pereira gets to the title, if he does, Israel may have gone up to light heavyweight. It's just going to be John Jones and Izzy all over again, flirting with each other, never actually doing it. But I'm going to go for Pereira here, guys. I'm going to pick Pereira by murder. Yeah, I'm going to get it
by murder.
KO. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, see, this is it. I'm the only one who's chosen it by KO, and I was like, if he's going to win, it's probably going to be KO, right?
Yeah.
I just have this feeling.
Yeah, Michailidis has jiu-jitsu, but can he take him down? I'm not sure. So we've all gone for Pereira, Drake, myself, Chris, JHK. Minus 245 favorite here. Plus 215.
Pretty big favor for a UFC debut against a tough opponent.
I think it just speaks to his reputation, his man's got a highlight reel. We know Justin Gaethje's the highlight, but Pereira's also when he knocks people out, it's usually pretty spectacular. I'm remembering his one in was it LFA last year? It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Go check it out.
He's so
if you
tall
haven't.
for this weight class as well.
Yeah, he is.
So that's
6'4". He's
6'4",
much taller than Michailidis here. Okay, yeah, but yeah, like you said, he's only had 4 fights in MMA, and a bunch of them were 5 years ago in Brazil. So I think he's only had one in recent memory. That was about a year ago. So yeah, he could be. Michailidis could catch him off guard. You never know. Tell us what you think, guys. Pereira inside the distance says, Tristan. What's up, Tristan? He's also pointing out that Ian Gary is an even bigger favorite in his UFC debut. So
he's coming with a lot of hype as well.
He is.
Always do. Warriors champions, eh?
They always do. Doesn't always work out though. I mean, Modestas has been released, hasn't he? I thought that was quite harsh.
Yeah.
What was
100%.
he? 3-1 or 1-3 in the UFC, or what? 1-2. Anyway.
With the contender series, with them signing so many from there, we're going to see more and more guys just released from the UFC.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see, because Modestas is such a good fight. It'd be interesting to see if he goes back to Cage Warriors or he ends up going elsewhere.
I hope his leg is feeling better.
Oh yeah, he's going to be out for a while. I'd love to see Modestas come over to one championship, but we'll save that for another podcast.
I'll tell Chatri.
That's it.
He usually tweets out every now and then, like, who should I sign? Or, he says it on Facebook. So we can write Modestas underneath. We can tag him. Okay. Rage and Al. Bobby Green. Yeah. Who you got? Chris has gone for Raging Al, I see. Please tell us why, Chris.
Yeah, 100%. Love Bobby Green. Love all of his action. To me, he just hasn't got anywhere near the wins, the experience. He's never really fought at that top level. I'm not even sure if he's ever scraped himself into the rankings. He might have been in there a few years ago in the high teens, but Iaquinta's done against some of the best. He's fought against some of the best. He's got wins over, Kevin Lee's, the Masvidals of the game. Great performances against Khabib. Just far more well-rounded. I know he hasn't fought in 2 years, but he trains hard. And the thing is, he's training out of just an absolute super gym. Iron sharpens iron and whatnot. And I just think Quinton's going to have a little bit too much in his game and a little bit too much going on for Bobby Green to handle.
I agree.
I think Bobby Green had a lot of potential at one point, but then he never quite fulfilled it. Entertaining. Talks almost as much as Kevin Holland.
He's minus 180 favorite, and Al is plus 165. Yeah, but it's pretty tight on the Fanatics app. 52% going for Al. 48% he uses picking Bobby.
Yeah, and a little way to Raging Al.
Yeah, I don't know if something's happened, but Bobby's
potentially could be a great fight though. I mean, Al Iaquinta hasn't fought that much, has he? Really, in the last few years. Bobby Green, if this was the Apex, maybe a little story. He had a good little run at the Apex, didn't he? He fought pretty regularly, and I think he won every fight, though. He may have lost the last one. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
Well, JHK is picking him, but Drake and myself and Chris are all with Al. I think you are as well, Leon. So you don't have the app. You should get the app. Come on.
Maybe.
You don't believe in apps, do you?
Oh, no, yeah. Before I just didn't have enough time, but
okay.
There's a bit more time in my hands now.
Well, if you do it, I'll get you in this little. We'll get rid of Whitelaw and Jasmine. Tom can stay, but he's going to have to come on the podcast. Okay. All right, let's go. What's next? Phil Hawes, Chris Curtis, Megatron against the Action Man. Okay, Chris, I see you've gone for Megatron. He's a heavy favorite here, minus 305. Chris Curtis plus 260. And why have you picked him for aside from the obvious reasons? But it seems to be a pretty big favorite, hasn't he?
Phil Hawes is just a genetics person. He's fantastic. Every time I've seen him, he looks great. He's got top 10 in the division written all over him. I think it's just how fast he can get there. He needs to get the fights under his belt. And I just think it's a really tough ask for Chris Curtis. A little bit of a journeyman. He's been there or thereabouts. He was Fight Night. He was 2 weight class champion over there. He had this time over in the PFL where he did okay. He got outside of the season. And then unfortunately, he had back-to-back fights against Magomed Kerimov and a fight against RC3 in PFL. So he left the PFL, I think, going 1-3. But obviously those 3 losses against just 2 of the best fighters over there. And I just think it is a really, really tough time. He does train with Extreme Couture, so he does have a lot of experience. You look at the amount of fights he's had over 3 times as many fights as Phil Hawes, but I just think Phil Hawes has just got a little bit too much athleticism, a little bit too much going on. But yeah, I think it'll be closer than people think, but I fancy Phil Davis to probably win it and get a dominant decision. Phil Hawes, sorry.
Phil Davis. All right.
Sorry, got Bellator on the mind. I was just wondering, where's Rain to complain about John's Bellator rankings?
Sure. Yeah, where is Rain? Sure, Rain will be back for our next show. Chris Curtis is more of a welterweight, says Tristan. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit, guys. Too much drinking and smoking last night, I think. I need to be sensible today. Gotta be fresh for the fights tomorrow. Okay, let's go. How many more? Do you want to do the whole thing, lads, or do you want to cherry pick a couple?
Look, I think we should do the next fight, Evan Sharbazian.
Yeah.
And I'd quite like to touch on Ian Gary, Jordan Williams, and Gian Valenti, Chris Barnett.
Yeah, let's go. All right. Edmund Sharbazian, the Golden Boy is back against Nasruddin Imavov. Everyone picking Imavov, though, guys. Chris, you've gone for the Russian sniper. What's going on?
You know what? I'm going with Imanov. He's really good. He's got a very solid background in wrestling. He does train out of the MMA factory with Cyril Gain. I think Vincent Garner used to be there as well. They're primarily a kickboxing camp. So this is a guy who's obviously training all the time against kickboxing. He's got a very solid wrestling background. And I just think that we have seen with Emin Sharbazian that if you can stand on the feet with him and then get takedowns, that is a little bit of his weakness. I think this is a great fight for both of them. I think it could go either way, but I just fancy him enough to get it done. But it all depends if Emin Sharbazian can really get that head movement going.
Absolutely.
He's coming off 2 losses, isn't he? So this is a huge fight for him, really.
Oh, 100%.
So
who did he lose to? Who did he lose to after Brunson?
He lost to Jack Manson.
That's 2 tough matchups, and now he's got a third one.
The Jack Manson was a decision, but it was just take him to the ground every round and a easy win for Hermanson.
Yeah.
I should be able to get their records somehow.
The thing with Sharbazian, though, he is ranked. If he came off a win off this, if I was him, the person I'd be calling out, because I think he's ranked about 12th or 13th, is he? I'd just go straight out and be calling out Darren Till. I think it'd be a great matchup for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 2 stand-up guys who don't want to wrestle.
I'm going to go with Imavov, yeah. I'm going to follow the pack. Minus 115. Odds widened. But only 30% of people on the app are picking him. Everyone's going for Edmund. Looks like some people are going to make some money here, maybe. That's the whole point. I mean, it's not actually money, but if you want to bet in real life, it's pride.
Yeah, it's a bit of pride. You never know. You can get some of this beautiful South China Morning Post MMA merch.
Yeah, Fanatics do an amazing job with this app. It's continually improving, isn't it?
Yeah. It's going from strength to strength. I think they've got nearly 10,000 users now on the whole app, which was their goal for this year. So well done to them. Well done to the boys, James and Michael. Good stuff. All right. Let's go. You wanted to talk about Ian Gary, Chris. Okay.
100%. I think anyone who watches this fight anyone who watches this fight live, and if Ian Gary wins, be prepared for someone to rock the mic. Let me think. I can't think of anyone on this card who will rock the mic if Ian Gary wins in any other way. He's so confident. He's just ready to fight anyone. He's got his head screwed on. And what I absolutely love about Ian Gary is he was at SBG for ages. He was at Glory Fitness for ages over in Ireland. And then he made the decision himself to go over to Sanford. He did no longer want to be the big fish in the small pond. He wanted to go and lose every day in training, is what he's been saying to people. He wanted to up his game. And I think at his young age of 23, former Cage Warriors welterweight champion, that is the exact right move. I think we're going to see something very, very special from this kid. I don't think it's going to be too quick, but I think maybe if we see him get the finish in the second round, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
I'm going with him as well. But yeah, I think so. It seems like everyone is 77% of people on the app are with Ian Gary. He's minus 375 with the bookies.
Jordan Williams. Don't want to put Jordan Williams down too much, but he hasn't had a great time since he joined the UFC. And
he did catch that carjacker though. Or what was it? Was that it?
He lost to Imanov. Who did he lose to in his last fight, Jordan Williams?
I saw it. I remember him getting. Let's have a look.
Mickey Gall.
Yeah.
Mickey Gall. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not super hot on Mickey Gall as a all-round fighter, and I think losing to Mickey Gall is not fantastic.
I think this is what they do. They call they're setting Gary up here, I think, for a pretty spectacular win on his debut, which is what you should do as a promoter sometimes, I think.
Yeah, and
UFC,
a lot of people out there, maybe they don't know about Ian Gary, but just came into Cage Warriors, absolutely dominated. 6 fights, I think, made his debut in Cage Warriors, 6 fights to get the titles, 1 decision. Every other fight was a finish. Honestly, I think this guy might blow up.
Yeah, Chris is right. The move to Sanford is huge, says Tristan. Terrence agrees. They're feeding Williams to the wolves. Feel bad for him. I tend to agree, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
talking to Sanford, I mean, Kamaru Usman made a good point this week, or one of the lead-up videos, that obviously if you're training at Sanford MMA, because it's such a stacked gym with so many good fighters, Henry Hooft and co, they're almost traveling almost every weekend. Because have you seen? I mean, Henry Hooft seems to be in the corner of a fighter pretty much every weekend, which means he's rarely in the gym. So there you've got one of the best coaches in the world. He's not there that often. Whereas obviously Usman gone to the other extreme of training with Trevor Whitman, who just purely has the few fighters and is just completely hands-on every day of the week.
that's a very good point. But they do have some other excellent coaches at
of course,
as well.
But I'd also say as well, Ian Gary and Kamaru Usman are at different ends of their career, right? Ian Gary said, saw an interview and he was saying he was winning all the time. He was beating people in middleweight regularly all the time, light heavyweights. And that's why he had to go to Sanford. And then he went to Sanford and it's like, oh, I feel mortal again. And I think that's what he needs.
Yeah, I mean, the fighters you're training with day in, day out as well are just on another level.
Yeah, that's it. And moving on to the next fight, talking about training every day, in and out. If you look at this picture of Gian Valenti, it looks like he's been training to become a sumo wrestler if you see him in person. This is the big boy fight, isn't it? I mean, Gian Valenti said, win or lose. He's calling it a day after this fight. This kind of reminds me of like a Ben Rothwell, Tim Sylvia kind of body in the last of their days where they just kind of...
I mean, he doesn't look as bad in that picture, but I saw him at the weigh-in yesterday. He was definitely... I remarked that we had the same body, so it made me feel better about myself.
Over the last 2 years, right, hasn't he gone from a middleweight
pretty
much overnight to... I think he had 1 fight at light heavyweight. Didn't he miss weight? And then just be like, I'll go up to heavyweight. Big up, going out at MSG. I think it's a smart move. He's got Chris Barnett, a little bit of a journeyman, fought all over the place, Fight Nights Global, ACA, Road FC, You name it, he's been there. Still trains himself, as you can see by his gym, Barnett Taekwondo Academy. I like that. I like a man who trains himself, but that in itself is a little bit scary because when a man trains himself, it means he's being too cheap to pay someone else to train him. It can mean, I don't know what it means. He's fought for titles on road, so he's probably made good money, but I'm not a big fan of any fighter really training themselves. I think he should have a supplementary gym would probably be ideal, but I actually fancy Chris Barnett to go in there and get the KO. I'm going to change my pick and I'm going to add the KO.
Yeah, I'm going for Chris Barnett as well. A lot of people are 73% actually on the app. But he's the underdog, plus 115. John Villani minus 115. Drake, Chris, JHK, and myself are all backing Chris Barnett, but it's quite a significant height difference there. Looks like. Does that play a factor? Who knows? I'm losing my voice, guys, so I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Let's just get on. Let's get on. All right, you want to talk about any of these other ones? How many more we got? There's so many
I
fights.
think there's 2 more left, right?
Oh, you can have a quick look at them. All right, let's go. Dustin Jacoby, John Allen. Jacoby minus 360 heavy favorite here, guys. Chris, you've backed him as well. What's the story?
I just think for everything I've seen, he's a little bit more well-rounded. He's been a little bit more tested at this level. He looks the faster fighter. He's got great stand-up, great takedown defense, super, super quick hands, really good in the pocket, fairly strong in the clinch as well. And has just proved to be a little bit more resilient over his career.
Agreed. Leon, anything from you?
No, I agree with Chris.
Okay. Cool. Let's roll on 2 more fights. We got Melsik. Oh, I'm not going to get this pronunciation right. Bagdasarian against Bruno Souza. The Tiger versus the Gun. Ooh, this could be fun. Armenia's finest, 6-1. He's heavy favorite here, minus 300 over Bruno. I haven't got the consensus here, so I don't know what's going on the app. I'll ask the guys. But Chris, you've gone for Melsik here.
Yeah, this is quite hard. Melsik obviously has been with the organization a while. Armenian fighter, fantastic, looks really good. And it's just the reason I've picked Melsik on this one is don't really know much about either fighter, but Bruno was a late replacement. I think 12 days ago did he sign the contract. He missed weight by quite a big margin, 2.4 pounds, close to 5 kilos for people out there who use the metric. There we go. I just think coming into the UFC with only 12 days preparation, I think it's a really tough ask. And I just hope that if he does lose, that the UFC give him a second fight, because I think someone comes in late notice on 12 days notice, they do deserve one more opportunity for me.
All right.
100%.
I'm going with Melsik as well. Okay. And CJ Vergara against Odie Osborne, the Jamaican sensation. I think I know who you're going to be picking. Oh, you've gone against the Jamaican sensation, Chris. What the hell?
That is it. It's a very, very rare move by myself. And I will tell you this morning, man, I was in a Jamaican mood, man. I had plantain for breakfast. Life is good, delicious for you guys. You should eat more of it. Better than bananas. The real natural fruit, unlike bananas. But let's not divulge into that right now. The reason why I am picking CJ Vergara is at this fight, I look at it and I've always thought it was a very, very close one between both people. But I just think if you looked on the scales last night, Odie Osborne seemed to be moving a little bit slow. He didn't seem to be doing very, very great with the weight cut. And then CJ Vergara himself didn't make weight. And in a very tight one, I kind of just go with the guy who doesn't make weight because it does generally give an advantage.
Wow. All right. Drake and JHK with Odie Osborne. I don't know who to pick, guys. So, Leon, maybe you can sway my mind. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going Osborne.
Okay. Short and sweet. I'm going to go with Odie Osborne. Sorry, Chris.
It's okay.
Minus 185 favorite here. I might flip-flop on that one. I don't know.
Let's be fair, there can only be one Jamaican sensation, and I think that's me.
There we go. All right. 66% upping Odie. That does it for the card, guys. So yeah, it's hopefully you've downloaded your app, guys. You've made your picks. Join our group, SCMP MMA on Fanatics Fantasy MMA. The link is there in the yellow ticker. There we go, guys. What do you think? UFC 268 could be the best show of the year.
100%. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I think we're going to have the main card. I think we're going to have a lot of knockouts, a lot of finishes. I think anyone out there, I'd be up for the whole prelims. I think a lot of the early prelims are fantastic. I think we're getting absolutely spoiled.
Yeah. I can't wait, guys. It's going to be awesome. Should we leave it there, lads? We hit the 1 hour 10. Unless you've got anything you want to discuss, burning desires.
Just very quickly say to everyone, come and watch the Post Fight podcast tomorrow. We'll be giving you all the best reaction out there. And while you're watching, give us a like, give us a subscribe, put on the bell icon. And you know what? If you get any extra money or you get any annual bonuses coming up soon, give us a super chat.
Exactly. And go follow Leon as well. Leon and Asian Persuasion MMA. What do you got coming up, Leon?
Well, not really. I've got obviously one returns next week, next gen 2.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. Not a great deal, really. I've got one quick question that I forgot to ask earlier. Usman Covington, does it go to the ground at any point this time?
Yes.
What? You think it will?
Second round.
I could see it happening.
Colby.
But
because Usman's never been taken down.
Yeah, and
that's it.
He's only ever had 1 second, is it, where he's not been in control on the ground in his whole career. Some kind of crazy stat I saw. It's madness. So I can see it going there. Yeah. Sadly, looks like just as loads more people log on and watch it now, we're out. So go back and watch the rest of it, guys. If you're just tuning in now, we've just been speaking for over an hour. We've made all our picks for the card. Just rewind it and enjoy seeing the lovely, lovely Chris and Leon, their beautiful faces. Talk about the fights, but otherwise I think we're out of here. So we'll be back, after the show tomorrow, after UFC 268. Come join us. We'll probably kick it off right after the press conference ends. So you watch the press conference, you can roll right into the podcast with us and talk all about the fights. I'm anticipating there'll be a lot to talk about.
100%.
But thanks.
It's going to go over an hour and a half, probably.
Yeah. Could break the record 2-hour one we did. When was
set
that?
my girlfriend off for brunch, so.
Oh, good idea, mate.
That's it, yeah.
There's bound to be some controversy as well, somewhere along the line.
I'll tell you what would be a nice controversy would be if Jake Paul showed up in his Halloween costume. It wasn't just the costume; it was the images in the background as well that were quite funny.
Yeah. Should be good. And happy birthday to my dad in the UK. He doesn't watch this, so I don't know why I'm saying it here. But, don't think he knows what YouTube is. But he's reached the ripe old age of 90. So
wow.
Yeah, it's a shame. I was gonna fly back and go be there for it, but we can't really travel in Hong Kong still, so it's a shame. But then I would have missed this awesome UFC card. So
that's it.
Yeah, swings and roundabouts. Okay, thanks guys again, and thanks everyone in the comments who's been liking, subscribing, interacting. We appreciate it. We'll see you all tomorrow. Yeah, come hang out with us after UFC 268.